Welcome back, Reading Rebels. I am Brianna, and this is my channel. If you are new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm glad you came back. We are in the final quarter of the year, and that means there are a ton of books coming out in the last half of this year that I want to talk about. So let's get into it. So I went and did a little research, watching some other videos, looking online to see what is coming out. As it's already September, I've got my list, but we've got to talk about some books that are coming out or have already come out that you may be interested in, that I am definitely interested in. So let's do it. First, we have one that has already come out that has been a hot commodity. I snagged a copy that had been listed on Pango for less than 3 minutes because you cannot find this anywhere. And that is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. And this is set in 1997 and gives all the fall feels, if you can't tell by this cover. And this is about my new next door neighbor seems to have everything figured out. Small town golden boy, check. Single dad extraordinaire, check. Hot baker forearms, I didn't notice them, I swear. So this is a single dad, next door neighbor romance, and the female main character, I, on the other hand, don't at all have anything figured out. Trust me. I didn't think taking over my mom's dream bed and breakfast in Copper Run, Vermont was going to be easy. It should be a good place to heal after my divorce, but apparently my scones belong in the garbage with my small talk skills. As pointed out by none other than Cliff, the hot dad next door. Cliff is inescapable. He knows exactly what people need, always. His charm, the way he wears flannel, even his pastries, make not wanting to be friends with Cliff and his daughter pretty hard. Friends? I can make friends. That's safe, except I'm leaving in 3 months to pass the inn off to my little sister and get the promotion in Seattle I've been working toward. So ask me why I'm thinking about kissing my hot neighbor. This book sounds so cute, and I can see why it's been such a hot commodity. So that's number one. That's already out. That came out September 2nd. Then we have People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young. One of my new favorite authors, Miss Hannah Bonham Young. If you don't know, she wrote Out on a Limb, Chef's Kiss. I've also finally read Out of the Woods. She's a fabulous author. But People Watching, so this is about Prudence. So again, so Prudence Welch has found solace in her introverted life in Baysville, a charming tourist town in northern Ontario. Despite once dreaming of a life beyond its borders, she now finds contentment in her routines, working at her father's gas station, writing poetry, and caring for her mother, who was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's shortly after Prue's 19th birthday. But as her mother's condition worsens and her father's concerns about her future intensify, Prue feels her world slipping further out of control. Enter Milo, an enigmatic wanderer whose beat-up van covered with ill-advised bumper stickers rolls into town just when Prue needs a change. It's all too easy to let go with him, and Prue can't help but strike up an unlikely friendship with Milo, which leads to a wild and sexy agreement between them. And I'll just leave it at that. It sounds really, really good. I've got a friend who went to the signing, and she's going to give me the extra copy that she got, so I'm really excited that I already have this one coming to me as well. I've got some great fall books already. Then we have The Heartbreak Hotel, which is coming out September 23rd. This was already a release on Book of the Month, I believe, because I've already seen this listed on Pango. This one strikes a chord with me because, so Louisa Walsh emerged from a tumultuous childhood with a degree in counseling, a wealthy boyfriend, I wish, and her sunny outlook on life mostly intact. But that optimism is tested when she's dumped and left unable to afford rent on their gorgeous house in the mountains of Colorado. So this book, she strikes up a deal with the landlord. Hey, I'll remodel this into a B&B if you let me live here in exchange for that. And of course, her and the landlord come together. I've been eyeballing this book. It looks super cute. So that comes out September 23rd. Then we have from Lucy Wood, Uncharmed, which is not quite a sequel to Rewitched, I don't believe, but is the next one from that author. So this one is Annie Wildwood is the perfect witch. Her life, a haze of pink, magic, and impossibly high standards. The proud owner of Celestial Bakehouse, a bustling London bakery, she devotes her powers to pleasing others. While perfection exacts a magical toll, it's a price Annie is more than willing to pay. But when she's tasked by her coven with mentoring a troubled teenage witch, Annie's charmed existence is thrown into chaos. So, fiery and stubborn, Maeve couldn't be more different. And Hal, the gruff, handsome owner of the temporary lodgings, is not best pleased to find the coven has offered up his woodland cottage home to two headstrong witches. This one sounds super cute. I'm assuming it's kind of in that same universe. I really liked Rewitched earlier this summer when I read it. I was greatly surprised by how cute it was. So this will be a fun follow-up to that. And that one comes out September 25th. Now, September 30th has a lot of books coming out that look really, really good. One by Geneva Rose, who we know from thrillers, The Perfect Divorce, The Perfect Marriage, which I think reversed those. But she has this one coming out, which I already have on my Kindle thanks to Amazon for free. Dating After the End of the World. So the tagline is, there's nothing like the undead to bring the living together in an action-packed and apocalyptic romance genre-shattering novel. Casey Pearson grew up with a doomsday prepping father. At 18, tired of living an unconventional life, she left home vowing never to return. More than a decade later, a mysterious viral outbreak changes everything, including the people it infects, turning them into zombie-like creatures. It's the end of the world, and no one saw it coming except for Casey's father. With no place left to run and danger lurking around every corner, Casey is forced to return home. Upon arrival, she's surprised to find that her dad is hunkered down with a group of survivors, including her arch nemesis, Blake Morrison. The high school bully who made Casey's teenage years a living hell. So while struggling to live on the compound, face outside threats, and survive alongside her handsome enemy, Casey will learn that although the world has ended, hers is just beginning. Sounds so fun. And when that was like the free Kindle read of the month, I was like, yep, because I've been eyeballing that for a few months when I found out that she was writing a romance. I was like, yeah, this sounds really fun. I'm excited for this. Then we have, so this one says it comes out on the 29th. I've also heard it comes out in December, so take this one with a grain of salt. But it sounds really, really cool. This one is called Time Hop Coffee Shop. And this one says, welcome to the Time Hop Coffee Shop, where wishes can come true. And this is about Greta Perks, who was once a shining star of the iconic Maple Gold coffee commercials, the quintessential TV wife and mom. Now fame has faded, her marriage is on the rocks, and her teenage daughter has become distant, and Greta's once glittering career feels like a distant memory. So when Greta stumbles upon a mysterious coffee shop serving a magical brew, she wishes for the perfect life in those past Maple Gold commercials. Next thing she knows, Greta wakes up in the idyllic make-believe town of Mapleville, where the sun always shines and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and a second chance fill the air. Given the opportunity to live the life she dreamed, Greta is determined to rewrite her own script. But can life ever be like a coffee commercial? Well, if it's like that Folgers commercial where there was practically incest, let's hope not. Then we have It's Different This Time, which is also September 30th. This is another one that gives much fall vibes. So this is a second chance romance between two former roommates, where one moved to LA and was on this hit TV show. Oh, my bread's done. Was on this hit TV show, and now it's done. But the brownstone they lived in, I guess the person who owned it died but left it to both of them. And so they have to come back together. And romance is in the air. So this sounds really cute as well. So it says 4 weeks, then June can return to her life in LA and forget about New York. But of course, will that happen? Of course not. It's a romance. Then, the moment I've been waiting for. Since last November, when Lila Sage first told us about this, at least when I went to the release of Lost and Lassoed, Soul Searching. Okay, I'm really, really excited, but I'm such a freaking Lila fangirl, it's disgusting. This is the first book in her paranormal romance duology. And look how beautiful this cover is. Like, oh my God. It is beautiful. So Collins has to return to Wyoming because there's this big corporation trying to basically run her parents out of town. Like, they're trying to get the antique store out from under them. And she doesn't want to come back, but she has to. And of course, Collins is also able to speak to spirits, like she's a medium. And she also runs into this man named Brady Cooper. And Brady has, this is what it says about Brady. Brady is absolutely and totally fine. Seriously, there's no secret reason why he's decided to uproot his life and suddenly move to Sweetwater Peak. He just needed a change of pace. At least that's what he tells himself and everyone else. So, of course, those two come together. I am so hyped about this book. I'm so excited because, well, it's Lila, and I love everything she writes. And this one just sounds phenomenal. And give me a paranormal romance. Give me paranormal anything, and I will eat that up. This one just, I'm so excited. This is probably my most hyped book of the last half of the year. This is probably the one I'm most excited about. That, I believe, wraps up everything in September. So, look at my list again. Let's move on to October. Now, October, oh my goodness, has 15 books coming out that I am eager to read and find out more about, one of which I am going to an author event where Lila Sage will be. But that's because she is bound and determined to get all romance authors to come to Utah, and I am here for it. But let's start with the books that come out on October 7th, and let's start with that book that I'm going to the author event for, and that is B.K. Borison, one of my favorite authors, and her book, Good Spirits. This book is like the ghost of Christmas past, sort of. We're back. Camera died. So this is about the ghost of Christmas past, Nolan Callahan, and this says he intends to spend the holiday season exactly like every other, haunting the terrible people of Annapolis in his aimless existence of the ghost of Christmas past. Harriet York is a good person, or at least she tries to be, A people pleaser to her core, she always does what's expected of her. So when Nolan is assigned to the sweeter than candy canes antique shop owner for the holiday haunting, neither of them have any idea why. To escape one another, Harriet and Nolan must unravel the threads that bind them together, all by Christmas Eve. Hand in hand, they uncover each other's pasts. But why is it that Nolan doesn't want to let her go? And might Harriet be the key to giving the ghost of Christmas past a future? This sounds so cute, and of course it's going to be a series, and I'm super excited because I love all her books. First Time Caller was a 5-star read for me this year. Loved it, loved it, love it. And it is now fall time, so now I'm going to finally finish the Love Light Farm series. Very excited to be going to the author release of that. So, next up, we have Cinder House. This is a take on the Cinderella story. And this is a unique book that I saw online, and I also saw someone else speaking about. Interesting, where she's a ghost and she's haunting. And it says, Ella is a haunting. Murdered at 16, her ghost is furiously trapped in her father's house, invisible to everyone except her stepmother and stepsisters. Even when she discovers how to untether herself from her prison, there are limits. She cannot be seen or heard by the living people who surround her. Her family must never learn she's able to leave. And at the stroke of every midnight, she finds herself back on the staircase where she died. Until she forges a wary friendship with a fairy charm seller and makes a bargain for 3 nights of almost living freedom. Freedom that means she can finally be seen, danced with, touched. You think you know Ella's story, the ball, the magical shoes, the handsome prince. You're halfway right and all the way wrong. This is by Freya Marsky, I think I said that right. This is going to be a short book. It's 144 pages, but it sounds so good. Like, this is very unique in the Cinderella story, and so I'm really excited for this unique telling. Next up, we have Dust Storm, another cowboy romance. Keep them coming. They are very popular right now, and I'll just take them all. Just give them to me. But this one is about Christian and Cassandra. And this one says, rule number 1, you ride in my truck, you let me open the door. Another problem was the last thing I needed. Unfortunately, Cassandra Parker was mine. The biggest problem of all, it wasn't the beautiful stranger sticking her nose in my operations. It wasn't the bulldozer she was driving over my way of life. And it definitely wasn't the fact that she was living in my house. The biggest problem, the engagement ring on her finger. Cassandra, rule number 1, if you're going to kill someone, make it look like an accident, cry at the funeral, admit to nothing, and deny everything. To be clear, I didn't want to be Christian Griffith's problem, but there I was, exiled from New York and stranded on a cattle ranch and desperate to salvage what was left of my career. Living with a single dad and his children, oh, another single dad romance, was a downgrade from my high-rise office and city comforts, but I agreed to it for one simple reason, to save my job. A hot cowboy wasn't going to lasso me into staying for a second longer than necessary. Sure. But this one sounds really, really good. Next, we have one that I am a little iffy on because the other one I read by this author, I absolutely hated. But this one sounds a little fun. And that is Crafting for Sinners. But this is by Jenny Kiefer. And And a queer woman must fight her way out of a big box craft store run by a diabolical religious cult in this gripping survival horror. So I hated This Wretched Valley. Like, I thought it would be really good, and I read it all. Didn't like it. But this one sounds really fun. So Ruth works for this big box craft store, and they fire her. And as an act of revenge, she's trying to shoplift some yarn, but she gets caught. And suddenly they're attacking her, and she has to like stab him in the eye. That's all in this synopsis, by the way. And it says, this relentless horror novel will have you on the edge of your seat as it hurtles towards a breathtaking conclusion. Will Ruth escape, or will the shocking secret at the heart of the cult die with her? So I'm willing to give this author another chance because this one sounds really, really good. But also it has a 3.55 rating on Storygraph already with 55 reviews. So this may or may not be Jenny Kiefer's last shot with me. Now we're moving into mid-October with some releases on October 14th. Next we have Dead and Breakfast, which is a cute, supernatural, cozy mystery whodunit, which is like a bed and breakfast run by this cute, gay vampire couple. But also it's a murder mystery. And I kind of want to leave it at that because it is a cozy mystery. I don't really want to know a whole lot going into this one, but it looks adorable. And then we have Sawyer, which is the third book in the Lucky River Ranch series of the brothers. So, of course, I'm looking forward to that, and we'll just leave it at that. And then we have Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent, which was originally indie pubbed and now was picked up for trad pub. And this is the first in this series to come out. I don't know a lot about this book. It does say, a former slave fighting for justice, a reclusive warrior who no longer believes it exists, and a dark magic that will entangle their fates. I'm interested enough that because I've liked the first in The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I haven't continued on with that series yet, but I do like her writing enough that I would like to try this, so we will go with that. Then we move into a bunch of books that are coming out on the 21st of October. The Women of Artemis. And this, so I'll just read the description of this. This is more one of those historical type fantasy novels. Mothers, daughters, warriors, women. This is the never before told story of history's most ferocious heroines. This is the rise of the Amazons. And that's enough to sell me. It sounds like it's a really powerful story about Amazonian women, and I'm all for that. Then we have The Isle in the Silver Sea. This one sounds really good. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that book that came out earlier this year where they live their lives over and over and they're fated to find each other again and again, but then they had to kill each other before they turned 18 each time. Sort of reminds me of that. It says, in a Britain fueled by stories, the knight and the witch are fated to fall in love and doom each other over and over, the same tale retold hundreds of lifetimes. Simran is a witch of the woods. Veena is a knight of the queen's court. When the two women begin to fall for each other, how can they surrender to their desires when to give in is to destroy each other? As they seek a way to break the cycle, a mysterious assassin begins targeting tales like theirs. To survive, the two will need to write a story stronger than the one that fate has given to them. It's a sapphic fantasy love story. It sounds really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I hope it's better than that one from earlier this year, because that one was okay, but kind of a letdown toward the end. So maybe this will be a redemption in that genre for me. Then we have, oh, this one sounds really fun. This is The Devil She Knows. Down on her luck, woman makes a deal with a crafty demon to win back her ex-girlfriend after a proposal gone awry, only to discover the girl of her dreams might be the devil she knows. Samantha Cooper is having a day from hell. In less than 24 hours, her life has unraveled, leaving her single and with nowhere to live. Adding insult to injury, she's trapped in an elevator with a gorgeous woman claiming to be a demon. Daphne is not at all what Samantha expected from someone claiming to be evil supernatural entity. She's pretty, witty, dressed in pink, and smells nice. And she's here to offer Samantha a deal she can't refuse. 6 wishes in exchange for one tiny trade, Samantha's soul. There's a glaring loophole in their contract, one Samantha fully intends to exploit, so she doesn't fork over her soul. After all, she only needs one wish to win her ex back. Hell-bent to gather the last of 1,000 souls she needs so that she can be free of her own devilish deal, Daphne grants each of Samantha's wishes with a twist, so that Samantha is forced to make another. As Samantha's wishes dwindle and Daphne offers her glimpses into a life she thought she wanted, the unlikely pair grow close. Perhaps the girl of Samantha's dreams is actually the stuff of nightmares. But Samantha and Daphne will have to outsmart the devil himself if they want a chance at happily ever after. It sounds like that Brendan Fraser movie from forever ago, if you remember, but gay. Then we have Isn't It Obvious? This one, again, is one of those ones that comes off as a You've Got Mail type of story, where in real life they hate each other, but online they fall in love with each other and they don't know it's them. It sounds really cute, and I always like a You've Got Mail type of premise. And then lastly, in October, we've got a book called Some Kind of Famous. This is a small town romance where a disgraced ex-musician and a local handyman try to resist their growing attraction to each other until a broken down house forces them together. And so this is the description. It's been a decade since Merritt Valentine's peak as a celebrated singer-songwriter and her subsequent career-ending mental breakdown. Since then, she's abandoned the glitz of Los Angeles to move with her sister Olivia in the sleepy Colorado ski town of Crested Peak, hoping to heal her lingering emotional wounds of the spotlight. Life in Crested Peak would be uncomplicated if not for Merritt's inconvenient crush on the local contractor and handyman, Nicholas Petrosky. Nico is disarmingly handsome and too kind-hearted to ever be right for the complex and prickly Merritt. Though tempting, a fling with Nico would only bring the kind of drama Merritt has vowed to leave behind. After his last heartbreak, Nico is done dating his fellow townies. Still, he can't shake his fascination with the brilliant Merritt, even as he heeds their mutual friends' warnings to steer clear of her chaos. But when Merritt needs help fixing up a house of her own, Nico is glad to be the only man for the job. And it sounds super cute. Just really cute small town romance. Who doesn't love a small town romance? Now, November, I didn't find any books coming out. When I was checking the dates for these that I originally thought were November, all turned out to be different months. So let's jump to December, and we only have 3, which it's the end of the year, so that's not really surprising. So we have Duke, which is the 4th book in the Lucky River Ranch series. the first of the twins to come out. And then we have Children of Fallen Gods, which is the second in the Carissa Broadbent series that is coming out. And then the last one coming out this year is the last book of the When in Rome series, which I thought was coming out in January, but now it says December 30th, and that's In Your Dreams. And that's the last of the sister stories. So this is the fourth in the Rome, Kentucky series, which of course started with the eldest brother and the pop star, which I love that book. That was a 5-star for me, and I'm currently starting the second. And now we've got Madison's story, and she left Rome, Kentucky, determined to prove she could make it in the culinary world, but after years of chasing success in New York, all she had to show for it was shattered confidence and a desperate need for a fresh start. Coming home isn't part of the plan until an unexpected job offer lands in her lap, giving her a chance to rebuild everything she lost. The head chef position in a new farm-to-table restaurant in her hometown. The only catch, it comes from James Huxley, owner of Huxley Farms, her brother's best friend. Best friend! Ah! I love a brother's best friend romance! I don't want to read anymore because I don't want to spoil it for myself, because I liked him in the other book that I read. So we're just going to leave it at that. But I'm really excited to be able to finish the Rome, Kentucky series. On that note, that is all of the books coming out toward this last few months of the year that I want to read, at least the ones that I was able to find. My TBR is ever growing. So let me know down below, which of these books are you most excited for? Are there ones that I didn't name that you're really excited for? Let me know down below. And if you liked this video, like this video. If you like videos like this, subscribe, stick around. I would love to have you. And on that note, I'm going to go start conquering my TBR so I have an excuse to add more. All right, bye guys.